Alright guys and gals, this is Northman. We are back with another video on Tarkov. This time we're going to do a little bit of a gameplay breakdown, so I'll get into it. We actually push in here and start to set up for a sniper position. We're looking around trying to figure out where the team that had spawned here had gone off and who's going to set up where now. Right here, Carl, we realize Carl has longer optics, so I move off to the left, get a different angle. We got Cam over on the right, and Carl lets us know that he got hit right after I lay down here. He's down. So we didn't get any audio, so either they're super far off suppressed or there's a little bit server desync. So first thing, we go and we catch up over at the small rock, and I start peeking around trying to figure out where they're at. Now we have a pretty good idea of where they could be shooting at Carl from. So I do start doing some quick peeks, trying to get their attention, see if I get suppressed or anything like that, and I actually do. So that also tells me a little bit more of a narrow field where they're at. So once we start moving here, though, I can break off, and you'll see on this little bit of an overlay coming up how we kind of split, so you get an idea of where we're at and where we're thinking the enemy is. So the red on this is going to be where we believe them to be. And now you can see where we're going and where I believe they are. So now knowing that they are in that wooded area, I'm going to post up in this little bit of a bush and try and figure out if I can. Here you can see him cross over through the trees, and now with this info, I know he's headed off to beach overwatch. Now, I know that they are either likely to be pushing up the beach to loot Carl, or they're trying to just hunt down players. At this point, we're still a little confused on what could be going on based on the not hearing any shots, so I'm trying to play it a little safe, knowing Cam's down, Carl's down. I'm going to watch their gear for a sec. Now, a little bit of time passes, and they never come for the gear, but I see them actually cross water. Now, I know they're over trying to get into a fight over on beach. At this point, I'm 100% sure that they are just chasing players, because there's been some shooting going on over by the scav hut over there. So I take a couple shots to see what I can stir up on them, and they run back into lumber here after being super confused. Now, this is making me think, oh yeah, no, it was server issues, because these guys aren't very good with their reactions, and if these weren't the guys that we just got engaged by, then they'd be getting engaged by the people who were shooting us. So I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable getting in close and engaging with them. So I keep listening, watch the bodies, make sure no one else is pushed over there, and they head into lumber, get into a big fight, so I follow. Now this is the route I took, and I get in there, and I'm hearing them mess around, take some shots at stuff, and it starts to get a little quiet. So I go ahead and get a little bit more aggressive, thinking, oh, maybe they took someone down, and they're starting to loot. Now, as I'm moving up here, I'm taking it a little bit slower than I did on my way in, knowing that I could potentially be very close. And I start actually noticing 3 guys moving around. Now, I could only really say that there was 2 before, but now knowing that there's 3, I'm pretty confident that there is going to be a decent fight here. So what I do is I get up on this tractor. I'm watching for the guy who went right. I know the guy who went left I don't have to worry about. This is where I confirm third guy. And so I go ahead, start shooting. Log eats him, so I pop up, and I get one of them right there. Now, I immediately book it out of here. I know I need to reposition. I'm still 2v1 here, way too close, need to reload, and just to take advantage of the confusion I just caused. They start shooting, going all crazy. Now, when I reposition, I'm just going to let this play out, because it's a pretty good reposition route for you guys to see. Use these trees, keep yourself in cover, and you can get out of there with no one knowing where you went. Now I reposition knowing that there is a good likelihood they're going to try and defend that body. This is one of those plays where you got to think about what would you do in that situation, and I wouldn't stay on the body, but I do know a lot of people would. Personally, I would actually position off the body and watch it, make sure I can see when someone comes in for it. These guys are playing super aggressive, moving around really quite a lot, and so I know that if I just take a wide flank, I'm going to avoid them and actually get better position on them because of that aggressive behavior. Alright, so now I'm down below him, and I get in this bush. Not a lot of people know you can actually see out of this bush fairly well. I'm trying to use the bushes and everything to my advantage. Still believe I have a 2v1 going on here. And so what I'm doing is just kind of listening around, watching, and I hear this. Now that first shot tells me, okay, they went toward Rockies, they figured out I wasn't left, and then more. Now this tells me, okay, they engaged scavs. They might think that there's a few other players still around, and I'm going to take my time here because I figured they're going to come back for the buddy's body with how much they stuck on it when I was rotating around and fight. They kind of fought some stuff off into the bushes in the left, or they were trying to shoot me out, see if they could stir me up. So I hang out here for a bit, and eventually they do come back. All right, so now I see them come back, and I notice there are two, so can't confirm that they are stacked up, and I start taking shots using the red dot on this SR-25. Now, the SR-25 puts them down pretty quick, so I figure, okay, if I leg them or arm them, that'll be fine. I'm not too worried about accuracy here. I just want to mess them up. And so I'm sitting here just taking shots, and they start freaking out. They can't figure out where I am. At this range, the SR-25, even suppressed, sounds pretty gnarly, so they're a little confused. They either think I'm further out or they're unsure of what's going on. But I actually stay in this bush for quite a while and keep taking pot shots at them. Now, it's at this point that my situational awareness pays off where theirs doesn't. I actually get one who walks up behind me. And this is not one that I've seen yet. So now I'm realizing I'm up against a 4-man. Which is a lot different situation than I thought I was in. So I'm going to continue to use this to my advantage, stay in this bush, and kind of work him over as I can. Now he comes back, tries to lose buddies, and I start engaging him. This confirms the 4-man theory, and we get into this little bit of stalemate where we're taking shots at each other. He actually lands one near me that surprised me, because at no other point did they ever figure out that I was in this bush, and he still actually, I think, just got a random one close, because he runs off at this point and doesn't engage me. Then I start noticing scavs come in, so I'm trying to scare those off, and I hear this. Now I spin around because I know about where that is, and I know that he's likely getting engaged by player scavs or scavs. And I notice him up near the stack. I start taking some shots, and he freaks out. I know I get a couple hits on him, and right off the bat, probably an arm and one to the torso. Wasn't enough to take him down. I think this is our kit boy, and I never see him again. He just takes off completely. So I go ahead and clear up where I last saw him, don't find anyone, and don't find the scav he was fighting either, so I go ahead and start looting up. These guys didn't have a ton of gear on them, so I think the better geared player was definitely the one that got out, or he grabbed some of the gear off his buddies. Now, lower levels on all these guys as well, so nothing crazy going on here, which makes us believe that they weren't that good and it was just server lag. Now, here I take out the player scav that was bugging him and I for pretty much the entire game. So that was interesting. But yeah, overall, good raid, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you on the next one.